is I, the Poptimist, and today we have Vinnie Longhi from Simi Supervillains. Vinnie, thank you so much for coming back on.
Yeah, thanks Taylor for having me, man.
Of course.
It's an honor to be in the new studio here in
I know.
in Poptimist, the Poptimist podcast talk show purgatory.
Yes, yes. Where good shows go to exist forever and nothing really happens with them. Chat with me a little bit about Diesel Creek. Like, talk a little bit about Diesel Creek and kind of making music for the channel and all of that.
Sure. So for those of you just tuning in, my name is Vinnie. I'm a musician that I live here in Nashville. I play in a band called the Semi Supervillains, and we just do the normal band thing. You know, I've done that for quite a while now. Diesel Creek is a YouTube channel. It's one of my very good friends. He's had a YouTube channel for years. And back in around, I guess, like 2018, he said, hey, can you make some songs for me since you have that recording equipment? And, because I want to use some music for my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend, his name is Matt. Matt always had a YouTube channel, in high school. He was kind of one of the first guys to really, that I knew of that was like into YouTube, things like that when we were in high school. And so I did, and a couple of years later, his channel becomes a pretty large YouTube channel. Diesel Creek, the subject of the channel is it's a lot of heavy machinery, homesteading. He'll do jobs with the heavy machinery and jobs for himself and then other people. He has some property out in Pennsylvania, and it's kind of interesting. He'll buy like a big antique cat bulldozer and restore it and then use it potentially on a job, and then the videos are like an hour, 2 hours long, so that's where it comes in for music. So I've done things like theme songs, interludes, background music, intro, outro, those type of things. And the kind of how we have it worked out is I just keep the music coming for him just because he wants to always it to be fresh, just with content.
Yeah, totally.
He does a video every 2 weeks, but yeah, check out Diesel Creek on the YouTube if you haven't already heard of it.
So what is it like? Because you're basically scoring a channel. So do you never see any of the footage in advance? Does he tell you what it is, or are you just making stuff and you're like, this is perfect for the channel?
Yeah, well, so Matt and I, we kind of grew up together, went to high school together, always, even before, when we were in high school, we'd always be trading music back and forth. And, he had I would say his taste is more of like old school country and rock, and mine is more like rock and all the rock derivatives. So he would share me things. I remember one time we were on a mission trip, and he showed me this Nirvana song that I wasn't familiar with, the Lake of Fire.
Off
song.
of Unplugged.
Yeah, so I had never heard that song because I only knew Nirvana as 2 albums because my dad had 2 CDs growing up, which was In Utero and Nevermind. So I was like, this is awesome. And then, after that, he's like, have you ever heard this song by The Animals, House of the Rising Sun? And I'm like, no. And we just happened to have a guitar, and I figured it out by ear right there. And he was singing, and I was playing it. We were like 15 or 16 years old. But our relationship kind of always was... we had music kind of in as well as just like kind of messing around like kids growing up. And, and even now, he'll say, hey, I want a song that sounds like this Pink Floyd song, or I want a song that sounds like this Tyler Childers song, or I really like this instrument. What is this? And like, it's a mandolin, he's like, can you do that? And I'm like, yeah, let me buy a mandolin real quick, know? So it's really interesting because he actually has a really good input. He knows the sound that he wants, and he gives me a lot of great feedback for what he likes, what he doesn't like, and he'll talk and say, do some more of this, or sometimes I remember there was one time he wanted a really cool song for an auto car, like a 57 auto car he just purchased, and I sent him one that I thought was what he wanted, and he was like, no, not quite. I ended up sending him 4 songs. Used all 4 songs, but the 4th song was the one, like, after talking to him a lot, like what he wanted for this video. And the video, I think it blew up to like 1 million views in a day, or like at least 2 days, but within a week it was at 1 million. And that's just kind of how his channel is. He'll post a video, by the end of the day, 8 hours, it has 350,000, and it's just through the roof. I don't know. It's really cool to watch. I don't have any background in, mechanics or anything like that, but I'm just mesmerized by it just because Matt, he explains it in a way that's very, easy for the person that doesn't have that background to understand.
Interesting. It's almost like Mike Rowe with Dirty Jobs a little bit.
Yeah, actually, very similar.
Yeah.
He's like a combination of Micro with Dirty Jobs and then the Survivor Man guy that brought all of his own cameras because he films all the videos. He doesn't have a camera crew. He does it. And he does all the editing himself.
Yeah, well, you've shown me the videos before, so I'm familiar with what it is because it'll be like a rainy day in the spring and he's mucking around.
Right. Right, yeah, no, it's cool to see like the come up too, because everybody likes a good come up, whether it's a band or an artist or whatever. And a YouTuber is the same thing. You know, you can if you start back at the beginning of the channel, you can see Matt. You know, he's working in muck basically to work on this car, and it's raining. He's like, I wish I had a shop. And then years later, you see him in a beautiful shop, and he's working on a thing, and you see how much this guy's worked so hard for the stuff. And also, I'll say, if you listen to the music on those earlier efforts, it's a lot crappier than the music from the later episodes, because it's been like, we've been doing it for like 5 or 6 years now. So it's just like I've learned better recording techniques, and you know, it's just more polished sounding. So more polished sounding videos, more polished sounding, you know, audio and visuals too, which is cool. So a lot of people have been along for the ride since the beginning. Some people just recently started watching, you know, because he might have bought a niche piece of equipment. They're like, oh, I really need to watch a video on this road grader because my dad has one and I want to restore it too, or something like that, you know. But it's like basically like pimp my ride for you know, people that aren't really pimping rides, and it's bulldozers.
Yeah. No, it's fascinating because it would be something that I would never, like, content that I would ever really seek out because I just wouldn't know that it existed.
Right.
But there's a whole world of people who are into that. Yeah, I think it's really interesting that you make all the music for that too, and it's like you have a particular sound that you do, and you do it well.
Sure.
But what is kind of like, how have you developed that sound over the years? Because you talk about the Diesel Creek thing, and you know the music being crappier back then. It's a lot better now. As an artist, as a songwriter, as a producer, performer, because you do everything.
Yeah.
You know what you want, and like you're good at bringing it to life. How do you balance all of those over time when you're trying to make something?
Sure. Yeah, I call it procrastinating. So whenever you wear multiple hats, where you're a songwriter, a guitar player, a producer, composer, all those things, which is those are the things I do. Sometimes if I maybe hit a writer's block with writing lyrics, I'll say, you know what? I'm going to mix for a while. And, you know, mixing is kind of a tedious task. But a lot of times whenever I'm doing those tedious tasks, whether it's mixing or just like ironing clothes or something, I can get inspiration, and I might think of like a line that rhymes better with that, or vice versa. I might be thinking of lyrics and be like, you know what, I think the vocals would sound really good with a better overdriven thing from this preamp, you know? So it's just a matter of, you know, whenever you are doing something creative like that, if you do have a true writer's block, you're not going to be able to exist in the music business, because you have to be constantly outputting, you know, whether it be content or something, you know, whether it's a fully flushed out idea or a partially half-baked song, you know, the internet has a place for everything. You know, you can do that, and, you know, maybe you'll find your next buddy that wants to say, hey, I think I have a good drum beat for that. Let me come over and lay that down. I recently had a friend of mine, Patrick Devine. He's a local comedian here based in Nashville.
He's been a guest on the show way back in the early days.
He's a touring comedian. He tours across the United States, but he recently was listening to some of my music, and he said, you know, I play harmonica, a really good blues harmonica. And
he does.
And
that's how I met him, was playing out of blues jams.
Yeah. And Patrick and I met from playing baseball in Nashville, you know, just like pickup baseball. But he said, you know, I want to come over sometime. We can maybe we can do a song together. I was like, I actually have 2 songs that could use blues harmonica right now. So he came over and did a couple songs, and right now I still got to mix them. But they sounded great, and I sent a clip to Matt from Diesel Creek because I thought, like, hey, these might be perfect for Diesel Creek, because Patrick was one of the persons that stumbled onto Diesel Creek and was like, dude, this is awesome. And he's another one that has no background of machinery or anything.
Yeah.
He's just mesmerized by it. And he's like, yeah, I watched this full series on this piece of equipment and this other series. It's like so much time is invested in this channel, but I'm committed now. He's a fan. So, yeah, we did a couple songs, and hopefully, Patrick, if you're listening, they'll be on Diesel Creek episodes soon.
That's badass.
Yeah.
So as far as evolution goes, though,
yeah, sorry, I dodged the question.
No, you're good. How do you feel like you've evolved over time, and what were some of the things that contributed to that evolution?
Sure. To give like a cliche example, it's like just life in general. You know, as you grow older, you go through different life experiences and you endure different things. And I've always kind of used my guitar playing as my outlet, whether it's something I wanted to do angry for aggression or just nice or something sad even. And I've always kind of like started with like, you know, with the guitar and playing like AC/DC style, like rock music. But then as I got better at the instrument, you know, I was able to learn how to finesse it a little bit more, and I wasn't just like chugging on power chords. I was, you know, able to do some more different things with different scales or whatever. But yeah, life experiences, those type of things. I think moving to Nashville, I moved here in 2019, and I didn't really have much of a country background at all. I was just purely a rock guy. I listened to all sorts of rock. Really, British Invasion was like my main thing that I enjoyed. And 6 months before I moved to Nashville, I just put on whatever outlaw country radio station or 90s country radio. And I listened to all those artists for like 6 months straight because I thought I was going to be a Broadway guitarist as soon as I got here.
Really?
Yeah, just because I like playing telly music and actually, crazy story. So this is a Nashville story. So in 2016, my band, the Semi Supervillains, we go down to Austin, Texas, right? And we're playing this showcase for Jam in the Van. It's at this beautiful mansion on the Colorado River, and we had no business being there. Just, you know, we were an unsigned band. We're playing with all these signed artists, and I think we're playing right before the Wildfeathers. And in 2016, the Wildfeathers had Daniel Donato playing lead guitar in their band with them. So the whole showcase was sponsored by some guitar brand and some amp brand, and there was a lounge. And I just remember as soon as I walked into that area, I was like, yeah, I want to try one of those guitars because they look cool. And I really like that amp. I want to try that amp out. I heard Daniel Donato playing. I had no idea who he was because I didn't live in Nashville.
He was probably really young at that point.
He was 20 years old. Yeah. He was young. And I just heard him playing, and I was like, oh, my God. What am I doing here? I don't deserve to be here. I'm not nearly as good as he is. But then I found out that he did a Hal Leonard book, and I bought that book, and I learned to play all.
I didn't know he did a Hal Leonard book.
Yeah, it's old. Yeah, I bought that in like 2016. I think I got home from Texas, found his book, bought it, and like watched the DVD and learned to play all of his licks. So that's when I really started getting into country, and that was kind of the step for me. Like, okay, country guitarists are the best. They have the best control, and that's as a guitar player that's been playing for 20 years. I still believe that the country guitarists, they're absolutely the best in the world. And Nashville has the best guitar players in the world. And I'm not saying that because I live in Nashville and I'm biased. I truly believe that they're the absolute best. So naturally, I wanted to try to, you know, reach for that. And I learned that. And then moving to Nashville, you're just kind of immersed in that all the time. So I would say my evolution as an artist even though I still am a rock artist and I still release rock records, there's a little bit of a country element, whether it be like a old school like Dwayne Eddy type of thing, or like a more modern I would even say Joe Walsh. He's kind of a country guitar player. He has some country licks.
He's got some country licks. I would agree with that.
But yeah, I just kind of like really incorporated that into my playing style. So especially like with lead guitar and stuff, I love doing country stuff.
Where does your work ethic come from? Because you have a really good work ethic.
Oh, where does it come from? I guess I was reading a book, and in the book it said that people that are creative, they're boring, and I'm extremely boring. You know, I have a 9-to-5, and I like having that 9-to-5 because it keeps my mind occupied. So when I get home, I'm ready to rumble. I'm ready to write music because I'm so sick of that boring, mundane 9-to-5. But the whole allure of the old school rock style of a man that goes out and does a ton of drugs and sleeps with 1,000 women and then writes beautiful records, that's a myth. You can't be doing that. It takes so much energy to be creative. You know, you have to really just rest your mind and practice good like health and mental health and physical health too, I would say. So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm really big into mental health and physical health, but I try to kayak, play baseball, bike ride, whatever. It's just I think that plays into it, and it fuels your mind too. And then eating healthy too. I've really gotten into that in the past, 10 years, I guess. It's been a while, but yeah, I do like plant-based diet for the most part. So,
have you always been a get up and go kind of person?
Yeah, I think that just comes
naturally. From the time that you were a kid?
From my dad, from my papa, who immigrated to Italy whenever he was immigrated from Italy when he was 17. It was just like work or don't have a job, and that's just kind of been ingrained in all of us. And I would say my family is a family of workaholics. I'm a third generation Italian immigrant workaholic.
That makes complete sense to me now.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the original band from us. Actually, this is a crazy story too. So the Semi Supervillains, we were from the Pittsburgh area. Weirton, West Virginia is where we grew up, and then I moved to Nashville in 2019 and left the band behind. Right. So the band consisted of myself, John Panaccio, Corey Caruso, and they live in New York City and Cleveland, Ohio, respectively. Musicians got to play to live, so I joined forces with a couple of people you may know down here, and it's just kind of Cat Jones, Evan Bailey, Isaac Short, and it's kind of like a rotating cast of musicians down here, whoever's available to play shows whenever they can. But I can't turn down a Tuesday night show at like Springwater. I have to do it, and I can't. For the heart in me, I can't even ask those guys to even consider driving down or flying down from up there to play just a weeknight show. But my soul needs it, and they understand too. But it's just one of those things I just have to. I have to have that. I have to constantly be playing too. It's just like a muscle. You got to exercise that muscle, that performance muscle.
Yeah, well, I think performance is a muscle, songwriting is a muscle. Producing is a muscle, mixing is a muscle.
Sure.
And there's very few people, I think, in town that I would say are competent at all of them. But you're one of them. You can do a little bit of everything, at least, even if you don't think so. You're at least passable at enough stuff. You're a jack of all trades. And I think anytime you're really trying to do your own thing, you kind of have to be. In a lot of ways, you can't expect anybody else to come and want to do whatever it is that you're working on if there isn't a goal, purpose, and direction. Because we've worked together a little bit over the years.
Yeah.
We did the Josh session.
Yeah.
And we've jammed and played together, and it's always it's crazy to think I'm going to be in Nashville 10 years now.
It's a long time,
in August.
They say it's a 10-year town, so
we'll see. But just seeing kind of everybody that we know, even peripherally, like rise over the years and get better at what it is that they're doing.
Right, yeah.
Because it really seems like you've hit your stride and you've always worked. And I've even if there's been a time period where we haven't seen or talked to each other in 6 months, it's like I see what you're doing. Like I'll watch your videos, whatever, on Instagram, and I know you're always out there hustling. And it's refreshing to see. And I also, Vinny, I've never heard you complain. I've never heard you complain about not liking the music business or feeling like something is unfair, anything like that. You always just hustle.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I'll complain about something right now. I was playing baseball on Sunday. I was pitching, and the next day I woke up and I think I might have hurt my UCL. So
oh no!
I need to rest.
Do you need Tommy John?
I'm complaining. Well, though I looked it up. I didn't go to the doctor yet, but I looked it up. They say it's probably like a nice little strain. But if I keep throwing hard, I might need Tommy John if I get a pop or something.
Yeah.
So I'm complaining. My arm kind of hurts right now. So, but I'm okay.
That's the only thing I've never heard you complain about anything ever being unfair or having to work hard or any of that. You always have a really positive, infectious attitude when you're in the room. And I know for myself, like, attitude goes a long way, and just like a positive mental outlook. Because I feel like it's very easy in a place like Nashville where there's a million other people trying to do what we're doing, and also feeling like maybe the deck is stacked against you a little bit, that you never complain about it, dude. And I commend you for it. I bitch about it all day long.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's like, Nashville is, and like any music community, there's going to be like cliques and circles of people, and it's just a matter of, you're going to make yourself look silly with trying to be around those people. And I don't mind making myself silly because I kind of always gravitate towards the people that are more talented than me and have better songs than I am, and have more, more of a following of a band than I do, just because I want to kind of learn their ways and just, offer what I can to them. Just because, and a lot of times I'm not going to do that unless it's someone I truly like, believe in and trust and like.
Yeah,
but offer my abilities to them to say, hey, let me help you with something that I can do. And I'll do like studio recordings for an affordable rate to my friends and people that like stuff. I'm very selective. Like, if it's something that I really believe in, like, I'll do it. But if I don't, I don't want to like ever do something, go like half-ass something, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like I'll just turn it down respectfully, you know. It's just like, hey, I got a little bit on my plate right now, that type of thing. But
Well, we're not always a good fit for everything.
that's true too. Yeah. Yeah, I know I'm working with a couple of people right now back in Pittsburgh, ironically enough, but it's just like I live in Nashville, but I think it's just a matter of the allure of being in Nashville. People will say, hey, I see what you're doing. I see the music you're releasing. I like the sound. Can you do that for my songs or whatever? I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, you know, you're someone I know and like, and I'm happy to work with you for an affordable rate. And you know, and just from being here for a few years, I have such a good network of musicians like you, and then our friend Taylor Miller, who's an excellent piano
Millhouse.
player. Yeah, and he you know, he moved back to West Virginia.
Yeah.
But I recently sent some work his way as far as like, just because I know he's an excellent honky tonk style
Yeah.
piano, and that's what the guy I was working with. He was.
Dude, I'm moving back to Nashville.
Already, just the one guy. I was like, hey, it's my friend, a good friend of mine, Seth Connor. He's a booking agent in Pittsburgh. But yeah, I think he did some work for Taylor, and he was happy with it. He was like, this guy's awesome, you know?
Yeah, he's a great player, man.
Yeah.
I miss him being here. I still talk to him on the phone.
Yeah.
I'll call him up every couple of weeks just to see what he's up to.
He's a good guy. He's
yeah.
a good guy. You know, he definitely has that kind of infectious kind of personality too, you know?
Sometimes. I also lived with him for years.
Oh, yeah, you guys were roommates. That's right. Yeah, so okay. I can understand that.
Yeah. No, I love him. I always will. And he knows it. Unfortunately, I wish he didn't sometimes.
Yeah.
What have you been listening to lately? Is there anything that's really knocking your socks off?
Oh, man. So I really like to dig back and listen to like old stuff, like old stuff. And, you know, I'm always listening to the band Crack the Sky. Our producer, Rick Wachowski, he's the guitar player of that band. But they're a sick band from the 70s, and they just released it's their 50th anniversary this year, and they've been doing a 50th anniversary tour. And they just did a re-recording of their very first album, and it's live. Crack the Sky, their self-titled album. So that I just listened to that recently with my dad. We went and saw them in Hagerstown, Maryland. It was awesome. But in the car ride over, I was listening to some XTC. Really cool stuff. You dig them if you're not into them already.
I think I know who they are.
Yeah, good bass, good guitar.
Yeah,
like really
but
like
punk band, right?
Sort of punk, just like new wave, like sort of neurotic, beatly. It's good. It's really.
Were they
good.
an LA band?
I'm not sure exactly where they are from.
I feel like I might know a song or two
Yeah.
by them, but I just don't
Yeah.
know it by name.
The people that like XTC are like, no, how could you not know all of XTC? They're amazing, but it's seriously killer band.
Yeah.
But yeah, then that type of stuff. As far as like new stuff, yeah, I can't think of anything new that I can really spat off without maybe offending someone. So I'm just gonna stick with the old stuff, you know.
You are going to see Jack White tonight, though.
Yeah.
At the Blue Room.
Happy to see. Yeah. I saw this morning he was doing a pop up there. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I better get a ticket. And yeah, excited. Big Jack White fan. I like everything that he's done on and off the stage. I think he's really good and served like
He's a smart businessman.
business-wise, and I think just for like helping with just giving other bands, or like kind of just like being a like a pioneer in a sense, like of this new type of like music industry that we're in, you know, navigating it, that type of stuff. I don't know, like a lot of respect for him and what he does.
And he's done it here in Nashville.
I know. And the stuff that I like the best about it is just like, you know, you see him driving his own van to his shows, and it's just like they're on the way to a show. It's like an Instagram.
And they're like
story.
listening to a baseball game.
And Jack White is driving the van.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, that's so cool. Like they're not on like some bougie fancy tour bus. He's like salt of the earth kind of guy. But it makes sense. He came from Detroit, like a working class family, and that's kind of where we came from too. You know, West Virginia and you know Maine for you. But I don't know. That's, to me, that's the type of stuff that the working musician, because that's what, you know, what we are, what we really kind of look up to, you know.
Yeah, no, I think my heroes have always been, like, let alone from, of course, all the rock stars, but I've always really related deeply to like session players and producers.
Sure, yeah.
More than even the rock stars, because it was like when I was a kid, I loved like Green Day and My Chemical Romance and all of that stuff, but I also was concurrently listening to like Booker T and the MGs or Motown and learning who the Funk Brothers were and that they were the backing band for Motown, learning about James Jamerson. I'm like, well, who's James Jamerson? You get into it and he has hundreds of credits. You know, Carol Kay. Do you know about Carol Kay?
Of course, yeah. Like probably the top 3 bassists of all time.
Yeah. So it was like people like that I always more so related to because they were kind of normal and they worked 9 to 5 and playing sessions and then played gigs at night and that's what they did. They were working musicians.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think there's something very romantic to that. And like back then in the 50s, 60s, 70s, things are just kind of different now. It's not the same world as it was in that way. But I think there's still plenty of opportunity that someone can take today. Like
Definitely.
you have taken.
Yeah. I mean,
or like the Weird Sisters.
Anyone with like a $100 microphone and a laptop computer can release stuff and put it out there on the internet. And, if they do it consistently and passionately, you might get people to listen to it, which is, whereas back in the 70s and 80s, you had to go to a state-of-the-art recording studio, and to do that, you had to have funding, and some of these records, they cost $1 million just because that was the barrier to get into it, which is completely the opposite of today. Now you could say there's like the market is flooded with new music every day, but I think that's awesome. It's just accessible to anyone. You look at like major pop artists are doing that stuff. Like Billie Eilish like her first record was done with an Apollo. I didn't know that. I have an Apollo, dude. Yeah, like it can be done. It's just you can't blame the equipment anymore. And that's the other thing too. It's like limitations, I think, inspire creativity. For me, sometimes if I have to write a couple of songs, whether it's for like sync stuff or a client wants a song that says like this, I'll set up one amplifier, mic it up really nice, and have a guitar, and I'll say, the next 3 songs I write are going to be with this guitar, this bass, and this drum kit or this drum sound. And that really inspires the creativity, because now you have these Kemper Profiler amps where you have a million different amp sounds, every amp sound under the sun, but sometimes you get a writer's block because you're just scrolling through the thing like, what's the perfect sound? But when you're just like cemented into one sound, I think it just really, you're like, okay, that's the sound, that's what it is, let's just play. Let's use my hands, because I'm most creative when I'm using my hands. When I'm just thinking about music or talking about music, I'm like, I'm an imposter. I get the imposter syndrome, and then I just start playing. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I know how to do this really well.
Yeah, no, I can relate to that for sure. Dude, I've gotten so much new gear lately.
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
up to my eyeballs in new gear.
See, I'm always buying and selling gear just because it is inspiring. You get inspired from it. A different sound you can get from something like this guitar I'm about to do in this session. For you, you'll see it. It's cool Dano guitar.
Yeah,
sitar guitar. Oh.
Yeah, it's badass. Well, let's do the first song.
All right,
What song do you want to do first?
We got the band in the other room. Let me go check with them to see what song they want to play first. But we'll be right back. Take a quick break. We're going to go play some guitar.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, cool. Great. Well, that was Living Stereo. Can you talk a little bit about that song?
Yeah, so that's a song. Speaking of gear, we were just talking about gear. I went to this Nashville guitar show a couple of years ago.
Okay, yeah.
Not the one that we
We
just
went to, yeah.
So Taylor and I just went to a guitar show a couple of weeks ago at Eastside Bowl. It was awesome. Eastside Bowl, if you live in East Nashville, it's awesome for bowling or for seeing a band. They have multiple stages, really cool spot. But this was actually one in Franklin. And at this time, unlike the time that we went, I actually did come home with a guitar that time.
Yeah, you were tempted to buy one from that guy,
Yeah.
Sharky. Yeah,
The Shrike. Yeah, it was a Greco Shrike.
yeah.
Yeah, I was this close to buying it, but I was like, no, I don't need another guitar today. But anyway, so I had just purchased a Rickenbacker guitar, and it was a good price. I got it. I took it home, and I just wrote this riff. I was just inspired by it, and I think I had like a fuzz pedal on. And it was just the riff from the song Living Stereo you just heard. And then after that, I was like, oh, this is cool. Let me just do another guitar, do a bass. I'm like, I have my synthesizer out right here. Let me put some synthesizer down on it. And then I'm like, wow, this really sounds cool. So then I released this song as an instrumental song. I sent it over to Diesel Creek, which is the the YouTube channel that I do music for. He loved it. And he put it in an episode, and everybody was like, what the heck of the name is that song? That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. And, I had my dad, he called me, he's like, you should probably put some lyrics to that song and put it on a record. And I was like, I was right in the middle of recording the record Frantic, our most recent full-length LP. And I said, yeah, you know what? I think it would be a good
It was the
fit.
first single too, right?
It was the first single, yeah. So it was I decided just like, let's just drop everything I'm doing and do this song right now. And I did, and that's what I did, and the song came out fantastically. I worked with Gerard Hadley and Matthew Harder, a video producer and director locally here in Nashville. They did the music video for it. Really cool, and it did so well, and it was just a great way to kick off an album just because people really got the hype up for it. I think we released it like maybe 6 months before the album came out, but that really just started the hype going, and then the album it was our best-selling album to date. I think just by having that single with a nice music video, 6 months in advance really helped to kind of grease the wheels for that one. But no, I've been incredibly grateful. Again, it comes from the network you're around with meeting great people like you and Gerard and Matthew. Man, they really killed on that video. And I had worked with them in the past on our previous
Is that the
album,
one
too.
you did at the racetrack?
No, they did. Those guys did that one too, which is really cool. That one's called Joyride by the Semi-Supervillains. That one's awesome. It was supposed to be a GTO, but the thing blew up the day of.
I
We had to get a
remember.
Corvette.
Yeah.
Oh no, but no, this one we actually did at Studio 1028. It's up in like Greenbrier area, a couple exits up. I think that it recently changed owners, but they have a nice studio with like an infinity wall, and we just did the entire thing there. And then John Panaccio, the bass player in our band, bass player / rhythm extraordinaire, he came down and we filmed some separately. We filmed some of him in my living room with a 1950s TV, pre-color General Electric TV, and turned that thing on, and it was cool. I definitely recommend checking out that video too. There's some weird pharmaceutical references in there with Quaaludes and things like that too, so it's fun.
Hell yeah, that's super exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I the more that I get into it, the more that I am actually becoming a gear guy, because I've never really had a pedal board before, and I brought my pedal board the other day to kind of show you. I got that Sans amp on it. I have the bass Big Muff. I really want to get like a Pog. I want to get some kind of.
I just sold one probably a year ago.
Damn.
Yeah. I had the big one with all the different faders on it and stuff.
I need to get a bigger board because I want to get that on there, and I want to do a what is it? It's a Electro Harmonics bass mono synth.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Which I had the bass micro synth before, and there was just. It's good for like studio, the micro synth is, but it's not practical live because there's like all these faders on it.
You could step on it and make a mess of things in the middle of a performance. Yeah,
exactly.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But I want to get a pedal with a good sub sound, and I've never really been a pedal guy.
Yeah.
I've been anti-pedal for a long time.
I always say I'm not a pedal guy, but then every time I'm on stage, I look down and there's like 3 or 5 or 6 pedals looking up at me. I'm like, I guess I am a pedal guy.
Yeah.
I have my compressor.
You
I
have a nice pedal board.
Yeah.
You had a lot of cool stuff.
Just a little thing, but I found the brand that I like. They make them and they don't break. I think the one I have, it's a MXR micro amp. I've had that since I was probably since 2010 I've had that, and I've been using that every show. That's the sound I use for lead and overdrive. It's just to make louder, make guitar louder, make it gritty. Push the amp a little more. But no, that one's been there. And there's good brands and there's bad brands of stuff, and everybody knows what those are. We're not going to shout either of those out right now. But no, I love me some guitar effects, use studio effects too, in the box. And I do like a hybrid situation with recording. 'Cause sometimes I'll do analog and I'll use real amplifiers, real vintage amplifiers from the 50s, mic those up. But then sometimes if I'm on the road, I have a lot of amp simulation on my laptop. I'll just use that. It's just easier, quicker. And sometimes if you just need to get an idea down too, it's good just to have that a good
to where you're not having to set everything up.
Plug it into the interface and play down your lead or your rhythm or whatever.
Yeah.
It's really.
You could always
nice
go back and record it too, analog if you want.
If you want, yeah, but sometimes it's good. And why mess with something that's not broken?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing that I admire about you, is that the times that we've worked together, I'll want to redo something, and you're like, "That was a good take."
Yeah.
You don't need to do another take.
Especially now with AI kind of like rearing its ugly head in music. I'm just like, actually no, the part that has a little bit of flaws in it, that's more human. I like that better than the quantized, auto-tuned BS. I can't listen to that. It's terrible for me.
Well, that's what's so special about like those early, like Zeppelin in general.
It even goes back to blues recordings from the 30s, man. Like they're just, they're beautiful because they're real and they're human and they're a snapshot of what that was, what that culture was in time, and whenever people look back on those, like now, I Robert Johnson recordings, I'm just like, wow, these are incredible, or Led Zeppelin or whatever, but what are we going to look back at music that was auto-tuned, they're going to be like, wow, that was some shite, man.
Yeah.
Like, people 25 years from now, like, what were they thinking?
Music is democratized now, like the making of music, like we were talking about. And that's one of the beautiful things about it, because guys like us can do our own thing. But there's also, maybe people, their motivation is just to be famous or to try.
What's money? That's what money is, And I would say the people that are most creative are the ones that aren't being paid for their recordings, because that means you can do whatever you want. That you don't have anyone sniffing up and saying like, "Hey, this you need to change this and make it more polished." Like it's like I'm going to make a Velvet Underground type of sounding album rather than have something that's super polished for top 40 pop radio. And that's. I don't know. I'm not someone that listens to top 40 radio.
There's certain stuff that I listen to where I'm like, I'll check it out. But for the most part, it doesn't speak to me,
Yeah, I just use Rick Beato to filter it for me.
Yes, yeah, dude, he's great. He's amazing.
I love him. He's fantastic. Yeah. He'll be like, yeah, this is bad. Like, she's singing a sad song over a C major. Like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, yeah, that doesn't make sense, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, he I would say out of everybody, the thing that's great about him is because he's a musician. Like when he gives critiques or a statement on current music culture,
and he's also human too.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm not even gonna try to attempt to play this incredible Steely Dan solo. I'm just gonna let it roll, and you guys can listen for yourself.
Or the other thing that I like that he says, he'll talk about like, this is not something that's made for me.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's 100% right. It's made for, the marketing is for like a 12-year-old girl or for, he's a 50, 60-year-old man.
Yeah, so he likes classic rock.
Yeah, exactly. Dad rock. There's a place for dad rock. And I would say that we make dad rock, and I enjoy making dad rock. Our following is dads, and I'm okay with that.
Well, hey, you got to know who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I've been super obsessed lately with the new Superman movie. Have you seen it yet?
No, I know that it was filmed in Cleveland, Ohio.
I didn't know it was filmed in Cleveland.
Yeah, parts of it. Yeah. But no, I haven't seen it. I'm not a big superhero movie guy, but I did like the Batman stuff, like with what's his face?
Robert Pattinson?
No, not him. The guy before him, Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Yeah,
well, that's the
sick,
guy before. So Ben Affleck was in the middle of that.
I never saw that either.
He was Batman for a little while. But yeah, dude, I loved the Superman movie a lot. Even if you don't like superhero movies, you might dig it.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite things about it is the end credit song is Iggy Pop, dude.
Oh, cool.
It's this song called Punk Rocker.
Yeah.
It was from this band Teddy Bears, because Iggy Pop, it's like, I think if you pay him $20,000, he'll do a song for you.
Sure.
And
Probably a lot more than that, actually.
Maybe, yeah. Whatever his number is.
Add a 0 to that.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe 2.
But he did this song that, like, I've always known that this song has existed, but the way that it was kind of used in the final scene into the end credits was really moving to me.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was kind of cool that it was like, oh, there was an Iggy Pop song used in a Superman movie.
Yeah, they had a really cool music supervisor for that to production then.
Yeah. I think a lot of it stems from James Gunn,
Yeah.
who did all the Guardians of the Galaxy
good
movies.
taste in music.
Yeah, he has good taste in music, because there was a couple other songs that were kind of like either punk or kind of from that era.
James Gunn did the new Superman movie?
Yeah.
I just watched the new Rick and Morty episode where they were kind of doing a parody of
And
him.
it had
was hilarious.
Zack Snyder with him, where he was like, more creatine, please.
Very funny,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm super stoked, man. I went out to the theaters to see that.
Yeah.
That twice, and I don't normally.
You saw the movie twice.
Twice in the theaters.
Well, I'm going to have to see
Yeah.
it once. Yeah, I've been to the Belcourt a few times in the past. Well, this summer, actually. I saw the Phoenician Scheme, and then I saw the the funny one with the funny guy, the brothers or friends, men that shouldn't be friends.
Oh yeah, with dude from
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd and the dude from I Think You Should Leave.
Anderson or something?
Yeah.
I forget. I'm sorry, guy. I forgot your
Yeah,
name. That
yeah.
movie was,
Tim Robinson.
Tim Robinson. Yeah, that movie was hilarious, but also really dark and a lot more dark than I thought it was going to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, well, yeah. I saw both those movies.
Yeah.
I also saw the Phoenician Scheme. Are you a big Wes Anderson guy?
I always say no, but then I always harken back to a bunch of his movies. I love that one, like the Steve Zissou one with Bill Murray. And
Yeah.
I saw Asteroid City, loved that. I'm like, there's a lot of Wes Anderson movies that I really do enjoy a lot, especially when you see him on the big screen with all the colors and everything. I think that's the way to see him.
He's an auteur director. He has a certain flavor, and sometimes it resonates with me, and sometimes it doesn't. Like, I saw the Phoenician Scheme in theaters, and I really thought that was a great movie.
Oh, it was fantastic. And then I read the reviews, and the reviews are like knocking it. I'm like, I thought it was one of his better ones, actually.
I thought it was one of his better movies as well.
No, they were saying it's like not as good as compared to the other ones. And then they said Asteroid City wasn't that good. I was like, I liked Asteroid City. I was like, whatever.
I didn't see Asteroid City, but
good, yeah.
I've heard from multiple people that it's good.
Yeah, I will say Michael Cera, I think that was his best performance I've ever seen him do.
Dude,
He was fantastic.
perfectly made for a Wes Anderson
I know,
movie.
right? He really is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Robert De Niro and Martin Scorsese or fucking it's that kind of director actor role, or Quentin Tarantino and Samuel L. Jackson.
Right.
I hope they just
just
make movies together till the end of time.
Yeah. Oh man.
Because it was spoiler alert. He plays like this German like bug expert. And then you find out
he's actually a really cool American guy.
Yeah, he's a really cool American
double agent
CIA
guy.
Yeah,
it was awesome. Yeah, it was so cool.
Because the reveal was so funny because he like pops his collar and messes up his hair and he's smoking a cigarette.
It was very to me, he reminded me of Jack White when he did that. Just with the cigarette and the mustache and everything. I was like, yeah, they totally copped Jack White's look for that.
yeah. It was pretty good. And again, I wouldn't say I'm like a Wes Anderson I much more love Tarantino and Paul Thomas Anderson. I think he's really great too. Christopher Nolan, of course. So there's all these great directors that I love. But Wes Anderson, I respect him. His stuff doesn't always resonate with me.
What's your favorite movie all time? If you can only pick
all time,
one on a desert island, you have one DVD player and or VCR.
Shawshank Redemption.
Really? Okay, good choice.
I mean, dude, it's a classic.
Yeah.
It's a classic story.
Yeah.
I would say probably Shawshank. I would probably have to go. I'm gonna give you a couple more. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Fantastic movie. Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
Love that one. Big Lebowski, I would say, is another one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
But yeah, I would say those would probably be my top three, because those are movies. There's other movies that I love, but as far as rewatchability, I want to watch them over and over and over again. Dude, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I mean, it only came out 4 or 5 years ago. I've probably seen that movie 10 times.
Did you read the book that's the expansion?
I did,
story?
yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Well, I love that it got into more of the the characters and their backstories.
Right.
Yeah, especially like Brad Pitt's character and
Yeah,
like
it
the
was
whole
a
thing about
a little bit of a hyperbole, but it was still cool.
Yeah, like the whole thing with the dogs, like how he got the dog and getting into all of that. And David Fincher's actually, he's in the process of making, it's a sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Where they keep following Leonardo DiCaprio's character.
Brad Pitt's character.
Oh, really? That would be
So
interesting too. Yeah.
Tarantino wrote the script.
Yeah.
But he's a fixer for movie studios in the late 70s. Like I think it takes
that'd be
place in
cool.
77.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
So he's the
I'd watch
guy
that.
when like celebrities do shady stuff, like they call him to go in. Because I imagine because of what happens at the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, that was like the premise of the movie. He
Yeah.
was like the guy's like keeper, basically.
Yeah. But I'm super excited for that. They're only giving it a Netflix release as of right now. So
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's still pretty big. So
I saw Happy Gilmore 2. Have you seen that?
no.
It was bad.
Oh, but bad in a good way?
No.
No.
No, it was bad, dude. And I
Sequels are never good.
I love Adam Sandler. Like
Yeah.
I think Adam Sandler's great. I love all his classic movies. But this it just seems like Netflix was like, we're going to give you a bunch of money.
Money grab, yeah.
We want Happy Gilmore 2, though, as one of the things that you're going to do for us.
It goes back to what I just said. Like, when you're most creative, it's when you're not being paid to do it. You can do whatever you want. But whenever someone's paying you to do things, that's when it's like, crap, how do we beat the dead horse?
I can't be a hater, though, and really rag on Adam Sandler.
No, he's a great
He's got
he's a great
so
dude,
many
yeah.
great movies.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Billy Madison, like I've always loved that movie. The original Happy Gilmore's great.
Even his dramas he's done in recent years are good too.
Have you seen Punch Drunk Love?
No.
That's a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. That was like the turning point in Adam Sandler's career where people were like, "Oh shit, he's a serious actor."
Yeah, oh yeah. I think Click was that. Like you remember that movie?
Click came after that, but
it was afterwards. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
but that's like a very emotional story.
Yeah, like I watched it as a kid. I'm like, this isn't like Happy Gilmore. I'm sad.
Yeah, it's about something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, dude, I'm a huge movie nerd. I can't get enough movies. I watch everything all day long.
Yeah, right on. Do you
Dude, talk to me a little bit about this this wonderful cup that we have here that you brought me.
Oh yeah, so we do semi supervillains. I have a website, online store where we sell records and T-shirts and merch all over the world. And I'm very thankful for all these people, especially in the UK, where you guys just had a new tax introduced. They have to pay like a lading or landing tax as well as the shipping, which is can sometimes be like $30, depending on like Switzerland or what country it is. But then you have to pay a tax once it gets there. But every year, for friends and family of the band, I do one like nice thing. Like this past year, I did like hats. I think the year before I did mugs. So I just give those out to everybody and whatever's left over, because I always over order more than what I need. They just go up on the merch store, and when they're gone, they're gone. So I ordered a lot of mugs. So those are in my attic, and I'm not too worried about those because they can withstand the heat and cold because they can be microwaved and things like that.
Yeah.
We're in Nashville, so there is really no cold here.
It's been so hot, dude.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, no, it's just a nice thing. For people. Some people like to have them. You're on your desk holding some pens or some coffee or whatever. I don't know. It's like a good marketing thing too.
Yeah, dude. I appreciate the fact that you are so business forward. I need to be this way. I need to get fucking
you gotta
T-shirts, dude.
You got to be. I mean, it definitely. I wouldn't say. I mean, it is America. It's a capitalist society. But if you're not doing it, like, it's just like, how can you expect to survive? You can't just depend on like the algorithms from like Instagram and Facebook and YouTube to carry you. You have to do some still like grassroots stuff. Like, you stop by a music venue, you play a show there, you say thank you, and then you gift the owner a nice mug with some gifts and candy in it afterwards,
Yeah.
Or for Christmas at least, just to maintain those relationships. And like, I truly do. If you ever get a mug from me, that means I truly do appreciate you as a person, and whether you're a business, a podcaster, or a band member.
I feel appreciated, dude.
Yeah.
I feel appreciated.
Yeah.
Let's do another song.
Okay, yeah. We got the band in there. Must have been waiting forever. They say, Vinny, come on, we're ready to play. We're hungry.
What are you gonna do Never Gonna, what is that one
Never
called?
Gonna Love You. Yeah. It's,
Okay.
so we're actually doing, our latest record, Frantic, we just did Living Stereo and Never Gonna Love You. They're the first 2 songs off of side B. Just because this is a purgatory public access television show, we might as well do the weird songs.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Never gonna love you, never gonna love you. And the sun's gonna see you, and all the bad things you've done. Never gonna love you, never gonna love you.
Okay, and we're back. Another riveting performance
Thank you.
by the semi-supervillains.
I'm surprised I still have my voice.
And it sounds beautiful, dude. Talk to me a little bit about that song.
Yeah, so that's definitely a curveball of a song. It's one that I actually started writing whenever I was in Pennsylvania, and I guess when you can say when you're in the most boring places, there's not really anything to do. There's no friends to call you up to go kayaking or go hang out or play baseball. You just work on music. So I just did this after work when I was living in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and then it was cool. I showed it to the band members, and they liked it. And then I took it to Rick Wachowski of Studio L in Weirton, West Virginia, and he's an incredible producer, and we started working on it with him, and we just went down a rabbit hole. Again, it's such a weird song, like nobody paying us to make the song, but we decided to really kind of experiment with sounds and things like that. On the actual studio recording, we do reverse delay, which is a really cool effect, and we kind of printed that into the track, as well as using more things like Mellotron synthesizers and things like that. In the performance, with 3 people, it's hard to do all that, but with a cool, weird instrument, it's fun, and a skilled drummer and a great backing vocalist and bassist. That's how the difference is between a studio recording and a live recording can go. But yeah, so it is kind of interesting. Some people I know, whenever I was younger, I hated listening to live recordings because it didn't sound exactly like the recording was, because I was a huge AC/DC guy, and I wanted it to sound like I wanted Bon Scott's voice to crack in all the right places like it does in the studio recordings. But it wasn't until I was an adult and I started listening to Bonfire and the live AC/DC recordings with Bon Scott where I really got an appreciation for him. And to me, he is number one, the GOAT, rock and roll singer personified. He never got old.
With that.
He never got old. He never got fat. He died a legend. He died how rock stars die. And then AC/DC came back and took over the world without him.
Yeah.
It just gives me goosebumps thinking of him, his voice, his lyrics. He's a bathroom stall poet. His stuff is so crude and clever. I just huge Bon Scott and AC/DC fan. But yeah, I don't know how I started talking about AC/DC. If you talk to me for any time longer than a half hour, this conversation is going to go to AC/DC. I swear to God.
I'm fond of the Bon Scott years myself. Like I like the Brian Johnson stuff, okay, but just like listening to "If You Want Blood, You've Got It," like what a great song that is. Highway to Hell, obviously, great album in general. But there was something kind of magical about AC/DC. Like they're really traveling like on 10 the whole time that they're playing.
Right. Well, they were a band of a bunch of rough and tumble friends from school, and then they get Bon Scott, who was a real actual thug, to be their lead singer, who had tattoos and broken teeth, and he sang about the things he did, like one night stands and all the lyrics that AC/DC are about.
Yeah. Where can people find you at, Vinny?
If you type in the semi-supervillains into the Google machine, you will find me. I promise that. YouTube is where I would recommend to start, though.
Fantastic. Well, hey, man, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, brother.
Yes. Keep on dreaming. See you next week.